Hello again, Luke Bugg, the Geek of Steel here, and today I've got the honour of speaking with Alexander Siddig. Good afternoon, sir.
The honour is mutual. Good afternoon. Nice to see you.
Yeah, so we're here today to talk about, obviously, the new film and your acting career as well. So, first of all, what can you tell me about Skylines?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I can tell you that. I wasn't sure what to expect. Some people know what Skylines is because it's the third in a series of films. Generally dealing with the fact that with aliens and humans and how they interact and get on. By the time we get to Skylines 3, there's a pandemic has happened, which I promised didn't know ahead of time that this was going to happen in the real world. One of the last things we can do is leave the planet, go to the home world of these particular aliens called pilots, and we'll find the answers there. And so my character, the general, has to get together a group of hardy boys and girls and others, because we take aliens too, to this place called Cobalt Blue, and things start to hit the fan when we get there. And in a nutshell, that's basically it. But it's a romp. It's a lot of fun. Is basically what it's designed to be. You're supposed to leave your brain at the door, sit down, and let us do all the heavy lifting, and take you through 2 sweet hours. I hope.
It was. I watched it last night. As you said, it's a romp. It was a lot of fun. If I could sort of describe it in a non-spoilery way, it's kind of like Starship Troopers with a little bit of Ocean's 11 involved as well, because there's a heist in there as well, so it was a lot of fun.
Exactly, it's glam rock, and if you like a bit of that, then that's what you're going to get. It's definitely not Citizen Kane, not Space Odyssey 2001. It's but weirdly, when you pan out and have a look, and if you feel like scratching beneath the surface, you will find that there's some issues you can get involved in, you get excited about, discuss if you feel like it, because the director does not shy away from talking about identity, doesn't shy away from talking about prejudice, but that's not it's not in your face. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he says. So if you look a little bit deeper, you do find that depth of it as well. Depth to the characters, depth to the aliens. And I think there was even some serious quotes towards the end, without any spoilers, but there are some fantastic lines from you in there that you clearly had fun with the role. But this character, this General Radford, he's got some charm, quite a lot of attitude and sass. How did you prepare for this role?
My wife would say that's probably he represents the nice side of me.
Yeah, he's got a likability to him, that's for sure. But
he's all right. He's all right. He's an ambiguous character, and there are a few surprises to him. And trying to make sure that you don't give anything away and keep things moving and bubbling and keep him interesting and real, while also making sure that it's fun. Is basically was the challenge of the film, and I'm really glad to say that I just had a good time when I watched it. Thank you, by the way. I know you did, and hopefully other people will. It's a really good lift me up movie for this particular time. I mean, right now, this is what you want on a Thursday night or a Friday afternoon.
That's
whatever.
it. Just it's wonderful. It's just a bit of escapism. You can sit down, just get lost in the story. Now, I've not watched the first 2 films. I will admit that,
Me too.
But halfway through the film, I did want to learn more about the stories, and they are on Netflix. So I think that's my plans after I've had my conversation with you today, is to go out and check out the beginning of it, because it's a big franchise, that's for sure. But how did it feel for you, sort of already joining quite an established franchise?
It was. I mean, I'm a bit of an old hand at franchises. I mean, I'm used to being sort of parachuted into projects that are already going and full steam, and they just feel like using me too. So I'm used to tipping up and saying, "Hey, how's everybody doing? Let's get cracking." This one particularly was just really hard work, which made it enjoyable, because when the budget isn't huge, everybody has to work harder. You have to work harder on your stunts, you have to work harder on your sequences and what's going to happen, the choreography, because there's no tricks or gimmicks that we can fall back on, big budget things to fix it later. So everything's very stagey, very much like theatre. You're seeing scenes performed on a set without much green screen, and that was kind of one of the cool things that Liam, the director, set up. Was like, we're going to have it. We've had to build everything because we haven't got the budget to do this all in camera and make it all big, special effects. But the special effects are pretty great, and I love the music. The music was sort of, it's like, I don't know, thrash metal. I'm not a heavy metal fan. I don't know much about heavy metal except for Metallica, but it sounded a bit like that.
It did. I mean, it started off at the beginning with like quite a lot of synthesizers and stuff going on, but once that action did build up, so did that heavy metal soundtrack. And I mean, yeah, as you said, Liam did a fantastic job of not only writing and directing, and some of the scenes were quite long. It was almost like a play, as you said. Yeah. Again, it doesn't have the world's greatest budget, but what we did get to see, I felt, was the quality of the acting and the fighting. There's a lot of hand-to-hand combat going on, literally sort of triple kicks going on and people flying against walls. You got to see a little bit of action towards the end without any too many spoilers, but you did well. You still got it in you. It's all good. So, it's a film, as you said, that we can all escape to and enjoy and have fun with. What was one of the proudest memories for you from set?
You know what I'm proud of? I think the fact that, when you come in as one of the older guys on set, people, with all the youngsters, people sort of look up to you to set a tone. And I think I'm proud of the tone we set. I think we had a fun, the director and myself, when I was there, obviously, Lindsay Morgan set the tone. She was the star, who, by the way, will probably be a huge action star one day because she is so good. Very hard to thread the needle of being charming and gorgeous and of any sex, and incredibly tough and steely and bitch, frankly. So she does those really well. And so I think maybe that, we set a lovely tone, and people really enjoyed themselves. We had a good time on set.
It's almost kind of like a family in a way, because you're all in pretty much most scenes together. There's a lot of one-on-one interaction, and what I love about films, I always love a gag reel with some bloopers, and they're in this film as well. They're always fun to see some sort of quite evil characters turn to their funny side and have a bit of a dance and goof off. And it was a very fun movie for me, that's for sure.
I'm really glad. It's always a risk. It's always dangerous. You're never sure, because everybody has to be on the same level, page, when you make a film like that. Because if someone's thinking being more serious or trying to make a different kind of movie, then you're in trouble. The director really has to get everybody under one hat and say, listen, guys, we're making a movie like this. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a romp, but anybody who starts throwing these curveballs and doing kind of performances that belong in another film, we don't want them. Yeah. And he did a great job of making sure that we all delivered the kind of movie he wants.
That's it. And I mean, and it was a fun action sci-fi, but I mean, you've got a few scenes towards the end, as I said earlier, that you get quite serious and you give some fantastic lines. And that's when sort of I really started getting intrigued. And I was like, wow, there's some depth to this character, even though I wasn't expecting it in this film. And you delivered, and I'm sure that was obviously part of you, but Liam's work as well. It was a fun scene towards the end of a bit of a intense climactic experience for me.
It gets pretty intense. I mean, it doesn't matter what the actor delivers on the day. The director decides what goes on in the film. So he decided what elements of my performance ended up on screen, and kudos to him.
So was this all filmed sort of this year and last year? How's it?
Last spring. No filming this year. Nothing. I mean, maybe some people are getting into the studios now, but they do it at their own risk, and they have to live in the hotel next to it, and they can't go out, and all their meals are delivered. So this filming this year is a very miserable thing to do. But last year in spring, when we didn't have any idea about COVID, we didn't even know what it was. Then were the days.
I bet.
We were in Lithuania and this lovely tiny little city called Vilnius, and we had a great, lovely time. I had a lovely hotel suite. I was hanging out with the guys. I think they were in a different hotel, but I quite like the old-fashioned hotels. And we'd meet for lunch and coffee. And I remember spending hours with James Cosmo at a table. talking about his kids and his life and what amazing actor he was, because I'm a huge fan of him.
I love him, and to see him in that as that sort of just typical surly old man, combine that with an eye patch, you've got a character that you just want to have a drink with and just listen to.
Absolutely. And he's got stories, boy. He's got interesting kids, and my goodness, the life he has lived. So brilliant. Really, I mean, lots of take-home memories that I checked.
It's been, again, you learn everything from each job you're on, and I'm sure you've learned a lot from that one. As you said, this year's not been the best work for actors and film actors, but voice actors have been doing very well this year. It's one of those jobs where you can sort of stay at home and record. Now, I know quite a few years back you did a little bit of voice acting work on Family Guy, of all things. Can you remember that?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember your voice because I used to be a big Family Guy fan, but I thought he was in the Silly Nannies Football Club. I don't remember that was, but yeah, I had a look at that one again this morning and it gave me a laugh. I tried to pick out your voice, and I think it's halfway
impossible because I'm doing such a different version of a voice.
I think it's in the pillow fight scene. There's something going on there, but a lot of fun for it. A lot of fun. Now, this isn't the first time, obviously, you've been in space, Alexander. You've been in space quite a few times before. Obviously, how did this set and action and work differ from your time on the Star Trek franchise?
They're a completely different game. Star Trek is, that's a well-oiled machine, and you walk in there and you basically turn up on time and you're done. You don't have, but with something like this, a sort of low budget with respect to it, affair, there's a lot more work to be done. Everyone's got to really focus on what their roles are, because the minute something breaks down, there is not time or money to fix it. So it was great to have done. I loved my time on Star Trek, and I love the character I played. More and more, weirdly, every year. Further I get away from it, the happier I am with it. But this one was just rolled sleeves up, get on with it. You've got sandwiches and crisps at lunch. You're not getting 3-course meal here, and off you go.
Feels like a real day's hard work on the set, doesn't it?
From an acting point of view, it's a real day's hard work. Although it's arguable whether there's such a thing as a real day's hard work as an actor.
But that's me. I mean, the Skylines franchise, it's been around for a while. It's got die-hard fans, just the same as the Star Trek franchise has got, quite one of the biggest fan bases in the world, and still providing lots more episodes and more content, and still respecting the past with the wonderful storylines such as wormholes and time travel. Would you ever consider returning to the world of Star Trek?
Sure. I mean, if it worked out, if it's a good idea. I'm very protective of my character called Bashir, Dr. Bashir. And I'm really protective of him because he was that's my dog trying to break in, by the way.
Star Trek fans, bacon's all that.
Exactly. It's actually a closet. I keep my small children in there.
Wonderful. They're always happy for that.
And so I'm really protective of Bashir. So if it was respectful of the character, and I thought that, that's a nice place for him to be, I'd be happy to do it. If, however, I thought, that's a bit cheap shot, I probably wouldn't. The beauty is I can decide not to. They can't get another Bashir.
No. But, I mean, as you said, that was your baby in a way, and I like how you would not just want to do it for the check. A lot of people out there would just sign the check and say, yeah, give me as much work as you possibly can. For you, it's about the quality, isn't it? That's what I feel in your choice.
I mean, I could do with money too, frankly, but it is, especially now this year in COVID, where basically you have to borrow money to stay afloat. There's no way could I foreseen this coming. Yeah,
it's all been a bit of a difficult year for all of us. The world of podcasting and interviews has been not too bad. At the beginning of the year, I was, a lot like many people. We weren't too sure what was going on, so we just sort of sat down for a bit and addressed everything. But the more I got back into interviewing and speaking with people around the world, it's gave me a bit of a push to keep on going forward. How have you been dealing with everything that this year has delivered?
I mean, relatively well. I think happily my wife and her family and my family in the UK are doing okay, and we're all kind of out of harm's way. We're in a small town in the United States, in Massachusetts, and I know we live in a small town in Sussex, a very small town in Sussex. So we're kind of not in the teeth of it, and given us a chance to avoid it, but we avoid it like the plague. We really do. I'm the only one who goes shopping. and I've got these sort of masks that are made of like steel. It feels like, and I get in, shop quick, get back, wash up, and cook. So it's been a really sad year, just watching a lot of people get ill and die, and it's been frustrating because I know we could have done a better job, both in the UK and America. America has made it's been a total disaster. They couldn't have done a worse job, I don't think, if they hadn't done anything at all. And that's been really sad because a lot of people have, they've lost.
Yeah, it's been a tough year. I'm definitely learning how to appreciate things more, which is the biggest thing that I've come away with. And little joys of light, such as a new film coming out, such as Skylines, or going out and finally having a walk somewhere is nice now. Just to sort of, luckily for me, I live quite near some woods and some countryside, so I can get out and be alone with my thoughts. Sometimes I'd rather listen to music, but it's been an interesting year for sure. And
one I can't wait to forget.
Yeah, well, we always get sort of, each generation, they say, has an era where they have to, the British way, the old stiff upper lip, keep calm and carry on and all that. And I get that a lot from your character in this film, from what we see of him. He's not quintessentially that English, that English villain that we all love to see in American films. They're either normally English or German villains in American movies. But you did a fantastic job, and I do wish you had some more screen time. I would have liked to see some more of you in it, because you did you added quite a lot to those scenes with your. Not only the uniform, but every now and again just walking around with, I believe, a tumbler of whiskey, just walking around in space, having a little drink. I like that.
Got to keep things together.
Did you add that to your script yourself? Was that?
Oh, no, they asked me to drink whiskey. Absolutely.
That was a nice little added extra to see. You're in space. You need to treat yourself. Yeah, have a little drink. That's it. So.
A cheeky bag out the back.
That's it. There's no smoking in space. Goodness me. So, please, if you could just, why should people sit down and enjoy this movie? What was your come away from it?
Well, my come away from watching it, which is probably all I got, because making it is a different thing. You never know what the film's going to be like until you see it. Was that it's a couple of hours really well spent, an hour and a half, that you just cannot regret. It's not going to leave you going, what a waste of my time. At least that's what I hope. I was genuinely entertained by it, and I don't usually watch stuff that I'm in. And I just had to this time, because I was going to do all of these interviews remotely, and I couldn't. Normally we go to the movies, and then we go to hotels, and all the press come, and we just do interview after interview. But this is a different deal. If you leave your prejudices at the door, you'll enjoy this film. It's a lot of fun. It genuinely is a lot of fun. I'm not
it was.
kidding.
I mean, there was the fact that you get quite a lot of sarcastic aliens sort of grunting back. You can't understand them, but you get the subtitles underneath. Yeah. That was one of the highlights for me, as I have to watch films with subtitles, because I'm like a dog that sees a squirrel sometimes. I'll look away. But with this one, I was just, every time I did see these huge creatures, I was waiting to what they would say next. And there was a lot of sort of nice little bit of comedy added to quite a serious and gritty film at times. So pay attention to the aliens is all I will say.
Absolutely. Read what they say.
And of course your scenes as well, Alexander. Well, the film comes out, I say, on the 18th. Alexander, thank you so much for joining me today all the way in Massachusetts. It's been an absolute honour to speak with you, and hopefully we'll see you again one day, as that wonderful doctor.
One day. Thank you very much, and thanks for your time.
My pleasure. Take care, Alexander.
Cheerio.